college, I dumped the most popular heiress on campus. 3 years later, my apartment flooded in the middle of the night. I went to crash at my buddy's place, but accidentally crawled into her bed instead. She smirked coldly wet, trying to rekindle our old flame. I panicked and tried to leave, but she grabbed me. Where do you think you're going? You can't just show up and leave like that. In my dream, I was holding a soft, warm body. Just as I was about to really enjoy myself, a sharp pain in my ear jolted me awake. I opened my eyes to find myself staring into those mesmerizing almond-shaped eyes I'd been dreaming about. The owner of those eyes was speaking. Beckett, and so long, and this is how you choose to see me again? What, trying to rekindle our old flame? Terrified, I quickly freed my ear from her grasp and jumped out of the bed, my face flushing red and pale in turns. Like my ex-girlfriend. How did I end up in bed with her? Her long hair was loose, and she was wearing only a sheer nightgown that left little to the imagination. I stuttered. W, what are you doing here? I could ask you the same thing, she retorted. At this point, I was so embarrassed I just wanted to run away. But she grabbed me before I could escape. Where do you think you're going? You can't just show up and leave like that. How could I have possibly guessed that after my apartment flooded, I'd sneak into my buddy's place in the middle of the night only to end up in my ex-girlfriend's bed? The commotion woke up the owner of the house. Gideon came over in his pajamas, his voice preceding him. Peasant, what's all the noise about? When he saw me, his eyes nearly popped out of his head. What the hell, what are you doing here? I gave a bitter smile. My apartment flooded. I had nowhere else to go but your place. My buddy pulled me aside and winked at me suggestively. She's my cousin. Did you two sleep together? I was so embarrassed I wanted to crawl into a hole. She was the last person I ever wanted to see again. This girl I had once scared for with all my heart, we just weren't meant to be. Back in college, she was the untouchable ice queen of our school. I fell for her at worst sight when I saw her at a club meeting. Everyone said she was a wealthy heiress with impossibly high standards. Then one day, she sprained her ankle in the locker room. She limped out, her face pale with pain and covered in cold sweat. I happened to be passing by and immediately carried her to the infirmary on my back. After that, we became friends. I discovered that although she seemed cold on the surface, she was actually quite warm and friendly in private. She was also quite forgetful and always losing things. She would often message me asking for help buying this or fetching that. She said I was the most attentive man in the world, remembering all her likes and dislikes and providing the best emotional support. She teased that I must have a girlfriend to be so experienced. I laughed and said no. She was my first. Her eyes sparkled as she quietly took my hand. The more I got to know her, I realized she wasn't called the campus goddess just for her beauty. She was also the cream of the crop among the wealthy elite. They had their own exclusive social circle that partied together. It was a completely different world from mine. But she told me she hated the fakeness and pretension of that circle. She said I was the most real. That made me happy. I introduced her to down-to-earth experiences of ordinary life. When I earned some money from helping my professor with research, I would treat her to a big meal. Sometimes she offered to pay, but I refused. I told her, paying is a man's job. I might not be able to give her a better life, but I would do my best with what I had. During that time, we were as close as could be. It was just an ordinary relationship, unable to withstand even a bit of wind and rain.